You know, in the NBA, some records are, well, they're just numbers. But others, they're like monuments. They're set so impossibly high, it feels like they were etched into stone, meant to last forever. Today, we're going to talk about one of those monuments and the modern-day king who dared to climb it. For more than 60 years, this number, 126, wasn't just a statistic. Man, it was a monument to pure, consistent greatness. A streak so ridiculously long, it honestly looked like a typo in the record books. It was a benchmark that nobody, and I mean nobody, thought could ever be reached again. And the guy behind that number was just as legendary, Wilt Chamberlain. They called him the Ghost for a reason. I mean, his stats were so out of this world that his records, like scoring 100 points in a single game, feel more like a myth than reality, right? Well, this streak was a massive part of that whole mythical legacy. But here's the crazy thing about Wilt. It wasn't just one streak. His dominance was just relentless. I mean, look at these numbers. 65 straight games dropping 30 points. 14 straight with 40. 7 straight with 50. The man was an absolute force of nature. And that's why his records seemed utterly, completely unbreakable. But, as they say, even the greatest myths eventually get a challenger. Enter the modern king, Oklahoma City's MVP, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Now, he's not a physical force like Wilt was. He's more like a basketball artist. His game is all about modern skill and this relentless, almost surgical consistency. So how in the world did this modern king start his methodical hunt for a ghost of the past? Well, it didn't happen with a bang. It started quietly, just one game at a time, building this incredible foundation of consistency. During this historic run, get this, SGA wasn't just scraping by to get to 20 points. Not at all. He was averaging an incredible 32.5 points per game. Just let that sink in for a second. That is elite, superstar-level production, night in and night out for years. And his coach, Mark Daigneault, he put it perfectly. For Shai, success isn't a reason to relax, it's just fuel. The more he achieves, the hungrier he gets. That's the mentality you need if you're gonna go ghost hunting. So what does a history-making streak that stretches across parts of 3 seasons actually look like? Well, it's a marathon of focus, talent, and, as we're about to see, a little bit of luck. This whole journey kicked off way back on November 1st, 2024. But the really critical, nail-biting moments, they came much, much later. This was not a smooth ride. It was a journey that had to survive some incredible tests, including a serious injury that nearly ended everything, just a month before he reached the top. And right here, this was the moment it almost all came crashing down. February 3rd, SGA is playing through a painful abdominal strain. He needs one more point to keep the streak alive. He gets to the free throw line, sinks it, and then he immediately subs out of the game. He went on to miss the next 9 games. Can you even imagine the pressure of that single shot with all of history hanging by a thread? He made it. That single free throw, just that act of pure resilience, set the stage for one absolutely unforgettable night in Oklahoma City. A record that had stood for 63 years was finally within his grasp. And the opponent? Oh, you know, just the Boston Celtics, of defensive juggernaut. No big deal. The entire basketball world was watching, and the question was simple. Could he seize this historic moment against this team right here, right now? The answer came with just over 7 minutes left in the third quarter. It wasn't a flashy dunk or some crazy play. It was a signature Shai Gilgeous-Alexander shot, a smooth, effortless 20-foot pull-up jumper, the kind of shot he's made thousands of times before. But this one was different. This one was for history. As soon as that ball swished through the net, the hometown crowd just exploded. You could feel the tension release, just this wave of pure joy from everyone witnessing history. A standing ovation, MVP chants. It was the perfect celebration for a moment over 60 years in the making. So now that the dust has settled, what does this new record of 127 consecutive games actually mean? Where does this put SGA in the pantheon of NBA legends? Look, Shai didn't just edge past Wilt. He now stands all alone at the very top. And look at the names below him. Wilt again, Oscar Robertson, Kevin Durant, Michael Jordan. We're talking about the greatest, most consistent scorers in the history of the game. And none of them even came close to this. That is just staggering. And to put this in even crazier perspective, besides Shai and Wilt, no other player in NBA history has ever even managed to string together 80 straight games of 20 points. It's a two-man mountain, and SGA is now the king of the hill. So he chased down a ghost and made history. He etched his name forever right next to a legend. And now, at the absolute peak of his powers, with one monumental record secured, we're all left to wonder, what's next for the king?